Hi, my name is Ayana. Some of you will obviously already know me because of the page that I've started or changed to kind of follow the journey that I'm kind of going to be documenting and trying to help inspire and help other people. For yous that don't know me, hi. This is my first video, so bear with me. Hopefully I'm not too jumpy and all over the place, and hopefully it's coherent and makes sense and is able to reach you and you're able to get whatever you need from it. So I kind of want this video to kind of focus on the reason that this page has started and just give you a brief history about myself and where I've come from and how I've got to the stage I'm at now and some of the things I've had to endure while on this journey. So the reason I started was because, started this page was because I thought it'd be helpful to document what's happening. I follow quite a lot of things on Instagram and Facebook about weight loss and doing it correct and inspirational quotes and pictures and other people's journeys and stories. And I thought, if I'm doing that, why not, see if that could possibly help someone else, because I know that many of them have helped me. So I've always been quite big. I've always been very big, if we're being very honest. By the time I was 13, 14, I was a size 16, 18. And by 15, 16, 17, I was in full-blown 24, 26, 28, and it kind of stayed that way for quite a long time, if I'm honest. I think the majority of my late teens I'd spent as a size 26, 28, and roughly about 25 stone. The issue I think I had, and what kind of allowed me to get that far in the first place, was not only a lot of emotional and psychological issues I have underneath for multiple reasons, but because I've always been quite a confident person. I'd hear a lot of stories about other people that were big and the kind of things that they'd endured, and possibly bullying or not being able to get boyfriends or feeling ugly. And I never had any of those things, which I think is partially a positive, but it's also a negative because it stopped me from kind of realising the sabotage and the damage I was doing to myself and my body. I was always quite confident. I was always complimented on how well I looked and how well I dressed. And I would get the comments of, oh, you're really pretty for a fat girl, or you dress really well for a big girl. And they never seemed to faze me. I'd only hear the positive and wouldn't take the negative, which I do think is a strength on my behalf. But again, like I said, also kind of kept me in a cocoon and stopped me from taking action. So the turning point for me when I realised that this is actually something you really need to kind of deal with is I'd gone to the doctors about something to do with my knees. I think it was on my back. I've always had back problems, which is probably attributed to obviously being the size that I am. And the doctors I go to, it's kind of an annex of another doctor's, a main doctor's. So it's quite a small doctor's. I was in there. I was asked to get on the scales. So obviously I've done this, got on the scales. And they said to me, oh, we can't measure you here. I don't know how much you weigh here because our scales only go up to 24 stone. So immediately I kind of thought, well, that must mean that I'm over 24 stone. And I remember that being a massive slap in the face. I've always been quite deceptive. I carry weight quite well, which again is another problem. I've never looked as big as I actually was. I never looked the size I actually was. Even when I tell people now I was 25 stone that knew me at my biggest, they're like, no way was you. And I'm like, yes, I was. I'd not been on the scales for about 3 years. Last time I'd weighed myself before that, I was probably about 20 stone and wasn't that upset. I knew I'd put on weight, but that was a massive kind of shock to me when I'd found out that I was 25 and a half stone by the time I'd got down to the other doctors and kind of got past my shame. And I'm not someone that gets shamed easily, trust me. It was kind of like, yeah, do you know what? You need to do something now. So I kind of started on thinking of what will work for me. I tried diets, I tried all sorts of things that just never really worked. And I think it's because deep down I didn't really want it and I wasn't really ready for it. I wasn't ready for the change because I'm a very determined person and there's nothing that I can't do. When I set my mind to doing something, it's almost set in stone. I'm going to get it because that's just who and how I am. So I knew deep down within myself I wasn't ready for the hard work. I wasn't ready for the change. Otherwise, I'd be seeing results. But it got to a stage where I had to think about my health, my limbs, my back, and my biggest ever want in life is to be a mother. So to think of not being able to even have kids because of my size, or even if I was able to produce children, to not be able to be around them and run around with them and have fun with them and not go on theme rides with them and all sorts of silly things like that. That was my driving force that made me think, I need to do this now. I really, really need to do this now. So I started first with small things. I cut out a lot of junk food and cut out fizzy drinks. Now, I'm not someone that, and a lot of people can't kind of do the whole strict diet thing. Some people can. I can't do that. It doesn't work for me. And I think that's a main thing with learning for yourself how to lose weight. You need to know yourself and the things that work for you. Now, for me, I couldn't see it as a diet, because the minute I saw it as a diet, I wanted everything in front of me, stuff that I wouldn't even eat. So I don't really eat, I mean, I did go through phases of I didn't really eat biscuits and things like that. I'd never buy them. But the minute I told myself I was on a diet, that's the immediate thing I'd beeline for. I think I want biscuits, I want crisps, I want chocolate, I want this, I want that. So I had to tell myself that you're just making adjustments. And yeah, you can still have all the things you want, but in moderation. That really helped me. So I cut out fizzy drinks, cut out crisps, chocolates, cut it down. If I still fancied one fizzy drink every so often, I'd have one. And if I still wanted a bit of chocolate, I'd have some. Or sweets, because I'm not really a chocolate person, but sweets. Haribo's, Tangfastic. Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I will sit and eat a whole packet even to this day. If I bring a Star Mix or Tangfastic in this house, it's missing. It's finished. So I had to learn to moderate that, and that really helped. With doing that, I lost my first 2 stone. But what happens is your body gets used to the changes that you've made, and that's no longer enough anymore. So after that, I then cut out quite a lot of carbs. So I cut out bread, then I cut out pasta and potatoes and rice, and was doing a lot of meat and veg, meat and salad, fish and veg, fish and salad, salads, which is quite good for me because luckily, again, I really like those kind of things. So that was okay. That was fine. I lost another 1.5 stone by doing that. Then again, my body got used to that. I then had to start exercising, which is where I started to notice my issues creeping in with kind of maintaining results. I started exercising, and I felt like before the choices I'd made, they didn't really feel like I was doing anything really hard. So when I started exercising and seeing results, it was great. But also when I was exercising and not seeing results, it really hit me hard. And then I then find I'd binge eat on stuff where I think, oh, well, I don't care. I'm going to have this today. I'm going to do that today. So that kind of set me on a bit of a dangerous path for a little while, I have to be honest. And I had to step back and kind of evaluate myself and what I want and why I'm doing this. I started to find that I was weighing myself 2 or 3 times a day. I'd actively kind of not eat something because I think, oh no, that's going to make me put on weight. And I became really fixated on the numbers on the scales. And I mean really fixated. I wouldn't be surprised if it was like literally borderline eating disorder. It was really, really bad for a little while. And never really told anyone about it or how much it did affect me. But it did. And it did take me a while to kind of say, do you know what? This is not what you're supposed to be doing. This is not how you're supposed to lose the weight. You're not meant to feel this way about yourself. So I did kind of step back, and I had to take a good 6 or 7 months out to kind of just reevaluate and kind of recollaborate the reasons I was doing what I was doing and how I was going to achieve the things I wanted to achieve. So that did help. I kind of found to love myself again, and I started to lose weight again, because you find with really loving yourself and your body, you no longer even want to eat that stuff. Even if you crave it, you think, I don't want to eat that processed meat. I don't want to eat that fatty this. I don't want to eat that. And that's where I would advise that you kind of start your journey from, if you are looking to start a journey like this of becoming healthier or loving your body more or eating right, whatever way you want to describe it. It's not all about weight. Is kind of think about the love you have for yourself and the love you want others to have for you. So, you know, I think it's very much about acceptance and accepting where you're at, but also constantly having a goal in mind of where you want to be. But I don't think it works unless you're truly happy with who you are at the time, with just room for improvement. We're never always happy. We're human. That's just how we are. But you have to love yourself while you're on this journey, because there'll be loads of times that your emotional well-being will be tested, your mental well-being, everything will be tested. I know for me that I am probably now more self-conscious of how I look and how I conduct myself now, 5 stone lighter, than I was when I was 25 stone. I have to admit that I felt a loss of self going through this journey. I felt that, you know, I'd always been fat, and if I was ever in an argument with people I didn't know, or that was always the first kind of insult people would throw at me of, oh, you fat cow, you fat this, you fat that. And I'd be like, well done, Sherlock Holmes. You know, that's clear for everyone to see. But what a big worry for me was once I started to lose weight and I'm still very big now. Don't mistake me. I'm not trying to act like I'm no Slim Jim, because I'm not. But because it wasn't the first thing that people would see, would they start digging for things that I'm actually vulnerable and susceptible to being upset by? And that was a massive thing for me. I thought, what if people start looking at other things that are actually going to be a big problem for me? I didn't have that cocoon, I didn't have that barrier, and I didn't have that protection of my weight anymore. And I kind of felt like if I wasn't the funny fat girl in the group, who was I going to be? I did really feel a great loss of identity and a loss of self. And I think that's something people need to be aware of if you're going through significant weight loss or significant changes, that it's not just your weight that changes, it's your mindset, it's the way you look at yourself, it's the way others look at you. And that can be very helpful, but it can also be damaging. So that's something else just to be aware of. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't want it to be too long. It's 10.5 minutes. It's probably going to be about 12 by the time I finish up. But just thank you for your time. Thanks for listening. I'm going to try and keep everyone posted as much as I can. And I don't want this page just to focus on weight loss. Overall, it needs to be about well-being and self-love and looking after ourselves and different ways we can do that, not just in terms of losing weight. So, yeah, I look forward to speaking to you all again soon, and have a good evening. Bye.